Life is never without challenge, but how we embrace challenge is what leads us to transformation. The pandemic is a chapter in our lives that united people across the globe with our commitment to community, our unwavering resilience, and a can-do spirit of adaptability. This film showcases 3 powerful stories of people from diverse backgrounds, each of them sharing with us how their core values help them and others to rebuild at a time of uncertainty and change. Prince Mullah is a singer-songwriter and music producer. He won the Guinness World Record for leading 1,046 musicians in the world's largest Indian cinematic music performance. Let's hear his inspirational story of how during the darkest hours, a community came together to comfort and lift each other up.
With the pandemic coming in and the lockdown hitting us hard, the artist community suffered the most. People were struggling to make ends meet, especially with daily livelihood. They were not able to get food and groceries in their homes. And I said, I can't just sit at home and do nothing. The first thing that I did is I called a couple of my friends, and they were my artist friends. And then the solution that we came up with was providing grocery relief for artist community. So we had about 450 volunteers who came in and went out, and overall we gave around 1 million meals to artists during the first and second wave. Community for me is 3 things. I think it's selflessness, hope, and love. Those who are alone, I want to say you one thing, that you are not alone in this race. You're not alone in the city. You're not alone in this life. We as a community want to stand for you.
At ACCA too, we understand the power of community. And through the pandemic, we have stood by one another. Many of our initiatives are about community building. Together, we created a financial literacy program for children at school. We produced a research paper for the MSME sector for their revival. Members have given back to society, being a force for public good. To upskill as a community, our members have led the ACCA India Technology Forum. And by mentoring future members on their careers and progression through ACCA, our community has helped nurture the next generation of finance and accounting professionals. Our next story is about resilience. Dr. Vidya Bandukwala, a gynecologist, shares with us a true story of navigating through the fears and the chaos of the pandemic to literally deliver life and hope into this world.
I will never forget, I had this patient of mine who called me at around 10 in the night and says her COVID results have come positive. So I tell her that, okay, since it's come positive, everything is going fine, just isolate yourself, take your medications. In an hour later, I get a panic call from the same patient, and she calls up and says, I'm all wet. What do I do, doctor? I'm leaking. I had to make a couple of calls because it was the peak COVID time. I was given that all the beds are occupied by the COVID patient and there was no beds available. Early morning, I get a call from one of the tertiary center where I work that you can get in the patient and we can do the needful. And thankfully, everything went well, and I took her to the hospital and we got her delivered. So that's something I would never ever forget. And the woman was very thankful. She had a wonderful delivery. As we all have the Hippocratic oath that we take, we had to continue to do our work and be there, because this is a noble profession that we chose, and this is a pandemic, and if we were not there for our patient, then who would be there?
In the face of events that are so challenging, it is our resilience that gives us the strength to survive and eventually to also prosper. Even with the pandemic and the lockdowns, our future members continued to progress in their ACCA journeys with resilience and a positive mindset to achieve membership. As finance professionals, Our members worked under unprecedented circumstances, continuously adding value to their organizations. Our last film is about the youngest amongst us. We take inspiration from Arav Doshi, a 12-year-old student who, like his entire generation, had to make the difficult leap to online education, staying at home, away from their friends and their playgrounds, and yet they showed us just how adaptable they were. Truly, the youngest have a lot to teach us.
So, we are finally going back to school. Maybe by the time you watch this video, we're already in school. But the years at home during the pandemic, well, those were pretty tough. But really special too. We started this tradition at dinner where each of us would share one thing that made us happy during the day. Like Dad once said, the moment that made him happiest was squeezing that extra bit of toothpaste out of the tube before it was ready to throw away. It made us laugh so much. My mom was really worried that we wouldn't be able to visit her parents during the lockdown. So I taught my grandparents how to get on Zoom. And Nani taught me her dal recipe in real time. By the way, the jeera has to go in last. This is critical. Nani now dresses up for these Zoom sessions. I think she has YouTube aspirations. Because school went online, I learned a lot of new ways to do things. I created an online form for vegetable sourcing in our society. I even made a video explaining how to fill it up. And at home, we continue the tradition and ask each other, what's the one thing that made you happy today?
Perhaps at no other time in recent history has adaptability become more important than it is now. The ability to change to fit new circumstances. This is a crucial skill to become the leaders in a world that is constantly in motion. Our future members have demonstrated incredible mental strength to adapt to the remote exams and progress through their ACCA qualifications. They also adapted to digital learning and chose to move forward with a positive mindset despite the challenges and uncertainties. Community, resilience, and adaptability are mindsets that enable us to grow in the face of challenge, thrive in any environment, and prosper.